Freezing mechanism of time through communication. The interforcing connections to the Earth is a feeding source. Understanding time positions of connections, understanding realm locations. Its centering positions is going to know a freezing locking load system to downward shift position, which means that the Earth itself is in a rotation spin cycle. So it knows exactly its clock, it knows exactly its time of its position, it knows its line of communications when it comes into the sun and everything through the moon and everything through its connection. Okay, so the sun's going to do, it's kind of like a 180, right? So it's going to tilt, right? So it has to tilt because dimension of time and everything through vibration has to change. So the center positions through its connection, the clocking of three-dimensional system is going to change all connections to the Earth. The environment spins, communication cycles, location standard points. It volumes on so many levels. Okay. Now, remember I told you when I was 10 years old, I had a dream. I was holding the Earth in my hands and it was glowing. Well, now's the time. This is almost over, ladies and gentlemen. So be patient. Basically, when it goes through its wind spins and it goes through its downshift, it's in a freezing time position. Okay, so I'm clocking the division of time through connection of its Earth rotation system. It's allocating to higher position levels, bringing everybody into the fifth dimensional cycle. That cycle is in its relation system. Now it's calculated and modified into the simulation core, centering positions to all computer operation center position. So other than that, feel free to go through my connections of healing. I go through my email. I can help you and guide you, put you in 12 rotation cycles into your rotation system of your lights, put you into your chakra, communication, grounds, powers, the atmospheres. Go into the simulation therapy. Like I said, if you want to understand more of your lights, where you're connected to, how far you're connected to, how do I go forward? A lot of people are in position right now and they're stuck. Right, so they're very confused. Some people are going forward, some people aren't because they don't understand their information. So you kind of like have to cut the cords to go higher two positions, right? And there's a lot of people that don't understand that. What force am I in? Am I, I'm not sure what club I'm in anymore. Well, it's not a club. It's a connection to you, another form through light, through electricity, through a computer, through quantum fields. It's all the metric line communications of your thoughts and where you're connected to is past, present, and its future. That's the most important we have to look at is what are you presenting yourself in, the past, the present, or the future. So a lot of things are happening right now through calculation. I'm going to be having an online store for my products. That's going to be coming very soon. I put that on the private link. And I also have a observation of a galactic force, a public domain for Facebook, where everybody can basically, put up posts or anything like that. It's all about unity coming together, consciousness coming together through one alignment. It's important that the public, understands what's going. I have a force team that can help you and guide you and put you in positions. So it's all about the practical levels, how we come into so many observations of the rebellion and what is the rebellion, what is the history of the rebellion, what is the ancestor of the rebellion, and it's all about that connection. So basically, I'll show you the picture where everybody can join, and I'll let you know more about the information about the online store, the products that I have going, t-shirts, hats, pants, cups, you name it, hoodies, right? It's really, really powerful stuff. So, times are changing and it's all about evolving, right? So if I'm going to evolve, everybody else is going to evolve. You got to see yourself moving forward. You got to see yourself getting ahead of time, right? Because the Earth is going ahead of time. Now, the freeze and locking locations to its computer operation center positions is on a total air, okay? So it says air, 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 air. Well, it's resetting. Okay, so the Earth is resetting the positions of rotation. That's what's happening right now, okay? So it's stopping time through positions right now. We go into that calculation modification and you understand what I'm saying through division to its position, okay? All right, so public attraction to Rebellion Alliance, okay? So just go there, okay? The force team's there. They can help you and guide you. There's pictures and It's pretty fascinating how these things come, you know? It's amazing. Public attraction of rebellion lines. So it should be on the public domain. And basically all you got to do is just tap on and you're ready to go. So it's all about giving back to humanity. They really have to know what's going on, not just with their body, but know what's going on with space and time. I think everybody wants to be in that position, to that calculation. So, and it gives you everything that you need, you know, so many platforms, so many social events, you know, things that are happening. It's important you know what is happening every day. So everybody has hope. Everybody has faith within themselves. When I say this is going to be an end of time through a new beginning, that's what's going to happen. So the communication confirmation signals are coming in through calculation. Right now I'm centering the energy ball. All right, so you should be able to see the earth. It should be spinning like this. At the digital frames, the circle going around and round. You see the time codes, you see the time frames. So it's amazing what you see when you actually can see the earth through perception. So time is consuming to all levels of space continuum. It's going to keep going through the patience levels. And like I said, patience is a virtue. It's everything through a virtue. So it's perseverance, never give up, always have hope within yourself, always have faith. Basically, you want to put a patent on that because it's how important humanity is to all of us, right? We have to understand unity of consciousness is everything through form. Okay. So in position, you really want to get into those connections. So I'd like to thank all the subscribers and viewers and watching my channel as we're going to high rising, more location positions of ourselves, getting into higher levels of connections. And my plasmas and my third eye is opening more and more. I'm actually seeing more reality of future. It's incredible. So I'll tell you exactly what it is, what I was seeing last night through the third eye, because the third eye is going up to higher level. When you go up to higher level, it's no longer a dream. Okay, so it's kind of like it's opening its cycle and it looks like this. Okay, and you get to see what you want to see, right? So you start off with this, right? And when I was just seeing a structure of a building like that through calculation. And there's a window. Okay, so it's all about what you see on the other side, and it opens up. Okay, it's like reality. You actually look at your perception. You're looking outside, and that's what you see, right? So it's no longer a dream. It's a perception of what you're seeing through your third eye. So that's where you get the power of recognition, because now you're going not just way beyond the mind system, but you're going way beyond the cloud and everything through the simulation. Okay, it's pretty incredible when we're coming into these points of views. So I'm going to draw up the Earth rotation system. It's calculated, right? Into its position. Center of its location. Okay, so there's the Earth. Now, understanding locks of time, understanding communication of time, understand freezing locking positions. So it's amazing what's happening. So the Earth is going to a different environment, different location, different position, different circle rotation, different rotation, center position. It's coming into a new computer operation line system. It has to go through these errors. So it's kind of like resetting your computers. Okay, so it's like pressing the buttons of the universe and then restarting it up again. Okay, so it's kind of like when the lights go out, right? Let's say the whole city goes out, right? You need generators, right? You know, that's what it does. It just regenerates everything and resets everything. So that's what's happening with this right now through digital frame. So it's in its connection. Okay. So it's got white screen location positions. Now that's connected to so many cycle positions. Once you come into those levels, right? So it's center position like this through calculation. Okay. Now it's incredible when we see these things, because if you understand what's going on. See, it's amazing. The Earth tells you exactly what's going on. So it's in that position right now, right? Now, when it gets into that calculation, it goes into its modulation cycle positions. Okay. The same thing. So you line screen locations in the data processing positions to its connection. All right. So it kind of looks like a leaf, right? So the leaf itself is going to have a new gravity system pole connection line system. So it's kind of like it's a plasma. Okay. It's a medical graph. It's a plasma medical graph, and surface is below, so it holds its new. It's like the Earth is on a bed. Okay, and it's got electrical light that's connecting to all forms of connections. Right. So we go through the operation cycles of its digital frame, and this is what you get through new connection. Okay, it's complicated stuff if you don't understand the Earth. All right, so the leaf location position comes into the center position, its round position, opens up its plasma energy force system. So the calculation and modification of the sun rotation center comes into plasma like this. Okay, so it's a walk screen through a location position, right? So the sun, in this calculation, modifies its location position. Okay. All right. Modifies. Okay. So it goes to the center position of its Earth. Okay. And then you get the moon surfacing to so many levels of positions. Okay. All right. So here we go. Here's the moon. I saw the moon last night and the night before. The night before, when I was up the rooftop, it was orange. The actual moon was orange. You think that was the sun, right? Well, you understand the positions of why everything is in the same atmosphere, because we're coming in different dimensions. So if you understand the communications, how to understand your repetitive cycles and your position, you understand where you are through dimension of time position. So it's all about understanding your gifts, have your perception, your times, and everything through your connection, your body frame positions. Coming in holographic, coming in the rainbow activation line system, that connection. So it's all about understanding what you're seeing through perceptions, because you could have the moon and the sun in the same positions. But what I saw is the orange of its moon, and it was half, right? But you have to understand it's not half. I see the whole circle. I see the whole rotation of what the moon looks like. Everybody just sees it just in the projection of a view. You can't see it any other way. It's not like you can fly around and see the back, but what you see through perception, you see everything through connection, because everything is in operation through space station position, right? The sun, the moon, and everything through the Earth. It's all calculated through a digital frame, but it has its own position of new clocks, has its own positions of new time of clocks, and has its own positions when it comes into codes, okay? So the moon comes into position like this, okay? All right, so it sends out the signals to the center position. Sun comes into position, okay? Changes the coloration system to the center position. Okay, see the center position there? The sun modifies it, comes in the center position. Okay. Now, it's activating through its cycle rotations. This is how the Earth comes into a freezing location position. All right, so it's all about blending the atmospheric positions, galaxy locations at time positions. Okay, so when you come into that calculation system, we come into a new Earth core position. Okay, center position here. Okay. It opens up its realm like this. Okay. This is what's happening right now with the Earth. All right. Now, center position location to its position. I lock in through location positions. I come into trifactor division location position. All right. So I center my locations into 1, 2, 3 through connection. Okay. Now I open up my own realm connection like this. It modifies everything through the new rotation cycle of its new position. It goes into the center position to its locking mechanism system. I go into its connection of its realm location. This is how you change the freezing locations of its Earth rotation center position to its calculation on occasion cycle. So it's complicated stuff if you don't understand communications of what's going on with the sun and the moon and how it's going into different time positions of its computer operated center position. So everything through the 3 waving cycles of energy waves and its connection to its Earth doesn't exist anymore. Remember I was telling you about the realms and the gateways? It's closed, right? But the position of the Earth is now shifting. Okay, it has to be resetted. So when you stop time through position, it goes through freezing of locking positions to its Earth rotation, okay, to its energy field positions, to its web graph position of an energy bed through a location position. Okay, so this is what's happening right now, right? It's activated and it's extremely real through connections. It's amazing how you see these things through traction and what's happening with the Earth. Okay. So the circle rotation center positions. Everything is calculated through its healing cycle position when it comes into your third eye, right? So the third eye is everything through realm of travel, through thought, okay, and through color. Okay, so you have to understand answering backs of color to positions of its clocking to its dimension to its Earth, because it's nothing but a feeding source. So we understand that through calculation. The center of that position. All right, so go into this calculation. All right, so we're going to go into this. Remember I'm telling you about the clock? Well, I'll show you through black what it is, okay? Now, this is where it comes into a new clock. So that's what's happening with the Earth. The Earth is coming into a new clock. It's repositioning its levels, all right? Okay, and when I say this is almost over, I mean this is almost over. So I'm resetting the clock, a 5th dimensional system of time position. We've already done that, right? So it comes into a new clock position, new time position, which is basically we center positions. Now we already did that through the light signals, but now I'm doing it through the Earth rotation of freezing. So when you freeze the Earth rotation system, it stops time through position of line sequences. So it's coming into the modification of the simulation to the singularity line location. All right. So you got the big hand. Okay. And you got the little hand. All right. 5. Right. So the Earth rotation center position is now in the cycle rotation of its center location. A 5-dimensional system. Okay. All right. So that's in its position. Once it's located, it goes in its own realm location. Okay, we get the interfacing location to the sun position. So the sun has to understand its relation cycles to its galaxy positions. Okay. And everything through the moon connects into connections. Now, everything, when you come to connections of the sun and the moon and it mutates on so many levels of blending surfaces, it's connected to the galaxy, its atom, to its particle, its molecular structure of light position. So it comes into a connection to a higher force connection, comes into a light signal activation light system to modification. Right? So the center position changes like this through the moon. Right? So it centers position like this through calculation. All right. We go into sonar patterns and it opens up its own realm location. So this is truly understanding how you get light on top of energy light through its electronic light to its computer light and reset position to new Earth rotation of 5th dimensional system of clocking positions. Okay. So it's all set through division. Now the diamond core position comes into my calculation. I center its position. I cross-reference its position. I come into my diamond core position, right? That's using center position and location, right? So it's all about taking the Earth into proactive cycle. Point division location positions here. You can cross-reference its location. Okay, now this is interesting because this is where it comes into modification. This changes its location to all levels of its division. Okay. It's really interesting how you do these things. It comes out of its equation, right? All right, so when it comes into a new program setting, to a new position. And then I go into the sun rotation system, take it out of its equation. You have to take everything out of its equation. Okay. All right, and then we come into the connections of the downshift. Right, so this is how you change the information cycle to the Earth rotation system. Okay, so it comes in its modification cycle. All right, so when it comes into that, then we come into Jupiter. Okay, so when Jupiter hits, change the rotation cycle positions here. All right, so this is Jupiter, so you can identify that. And there's Jupiter at the bottom. Okay, now the center position comes into the low graph position. Okay, so we're going to modify that to calculation, put that in location. Take it out of its equation. Okay, so when that's in set position, basically I come in position, I send in my own courses through to a new dimension round position. Okay, so it's the information system from the sun, information from the moon program setting, information from Jupiter, its connection of its rising positions. Okay, so I come into extremely neon color of a blue. That sends positions on the low graph position. Okay, so it's an energy ball, energy defense location. So it's coming into the fourth cycle into the fifth position. So the diamond core position is now the time clocking position of fifth dimensional system of my telepathy. Okay, so when we come into that connection to its location, all right, here we go, center position. Okay, so that's what's happening right now with the Earth. It's on a downshift. It's on its freezing locking location. It's repositioning its levels into a new diamond core shift, right? So you understand the Earth was at a different color, different shape, different anomaly, different time position of space through. So it's understanding that the Earth now is in a full rotation cycle of a new clocking system through a new digital frame to its position of a singular line division of a singular line location of simulation interface to its connection. Right? Hooah! Okay, it's activated on all four corners and 5 within the system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? It's activated. Right? So the Earth is on a new clock now. Okay, so it's on a new clock and it's a new time clock, which is 5 positions. 5 dimensions, 5 corner positions. 4 within the system, 5 within the center. New diamond core, new shape, new anomaly, new universe, right? So it's calculating and modifying, right? The only thing left was me through round connections. This is how everything comes into a triangle factor position. So as it comes into get connections, this is where the Earth comes into its full rotation of a shape. So when we do that through modification, I'll show you what it looks like. So the center position of the sun, center positions of the moon, center positions of my plasma energy, of its energy web through its connection, of its Earth rotation, and everything through Jupiter rising to position. All you got to do is just cross-reference positions to its location. Okay. So we're going to go through that line communication signal now. I'm going to arrow point it, show you what it's going to look like. I guess you start out that from here to here, right? So we lock it in. Okay. Now it comes into position. From the moon, this is where you come into the downshift, right? The freezing locking positions. So when the Earth goes into a new clocking position, it goes into a new time position of space anomaly. So the space anomaly and its diamond core position truly understand its communication to its computer at its interface. So it's a new program setting to a new flash drive, right? So the Earth is at a different color through its environments now, right? It's extremely activated and is extremely real. So when you put that in position, we'll come in here. This is the downshift. Okay, see, it's going to come into a box. Okay, so when it comes into a box in location, you lock it in. All right, crosses over to position. Okay, So you have to understand dimensions of time through clocking. So you have to understand how powerful, why we have boxes, right? You have to understand why E equals MC squared. So it's understand how to take the Earth and turn it into everything through shape, because the Earth was in the three-dimensional system of a different shape, but it's in a fifth-dimensional clocking system of a new shape. Okay, so it's in its clocking right now of 4, 5 within the system. Okay, so the center position of the clock is now in the fifth dimension of telepathy through communication. All right, so it's locked in key through location. All right, so you're thinking, wow, what's going on now? But I got to show you because it's very powerful when you come into these positions. All right, so everything comes into calculation. Now, as we come into that, we come into a new frame position. Okay, so we come into a web graph screen. Okay, so this is where the Earth finally comes into the fifth dimensional system of the simulation core. So line signals its channel operation center positions, right? It's like, okay, so this lock and key to that position. Okay, and let me cross-reference its location back into traction location. Okay, so it's illuminating everything right now. It's extremely high-rise positions. We're going to go into that condition. Once you come into those conditions, it's lock and key to position. Okay, all right, so here we go. Now we're downshifting the connection line system to projection line communication signals like this. Okay, now it's coming into a new graph, so it's going through a BIOS scan in the simulation, right? So I have to BIOS scan the Earth to make sure everything is in chronological order through the digital frame. The fifth dimensional system of the clocking is in position. Okay, you got the moon, you got the sun, you got the plasma energy in me through energy ball connection line system, and it's proactive through its Jupiter rising to its connection of surf engine positions. Now it's in a new division level of its connection of its shape through diamond core position, right? So it comes into new calculation modifications of new number positions. Okay, I'll color it in black and show you exactly what it is. So it kind of looks like this. It's the framing system to time code positions. Okay. You're thinking, what's going on now? But I'm just showing you, okay, what's happening with the Earth. Okay. So it can be 10-digit, 3-digit, it doesn't matter. It's all about understanding the correlation of the Earth and where it is in location into the proactive cycle of its position, right, to its trifactor location, okay, because it's fluctuating through so many patterns and it's low rising to its freezing mechanisms of time position of space anomalies to its connection. So I'm sequencing level to level connection line systems and putting all chronological order of numbers into the framing location positions. So it's kind of like understanding all numbers that have to be in right order position of sequences to time code of the teleportation device system. All right, there it is. Done. Done through digital. This is the new Earth. Okay, so all these numbers are in chronological order: time codes, time frames, time positions. This is a new matrix box to its position, but everything's in line communication. And we have the web graph, the medical graphing system of plasma energy force that keeps the archetype in position. Okay, so the Earth is in its set position of a new shape anomaly to its calculation of its number frequency level of its connection. Okay, so all right, it's exciting, isn't it? Pretty excited? I'm really excited. Things are changing like crazy now, like you wouldn't believe. So the number sequences and everything through time components and everything through factoring levels, the manufacturing levels of the Earth is no longer in set position of 3 or 4. It's now in a new calculation of a new number sequence. So these numbers were given to me through the Earth. The Earth gave me those numbers. It's in set position, lock and key now. Okay, so it's understanding how powerful the Earth is because we're all connected to codes, right? So when you put it in position, it's incredible when you see these things through your perception, that this is a new Earth. Okay. So I know you're saying, wow, this is incredible. And I'm thinking, yes, it is. And the thing is, it's more incredible because now, because the earth is in a different shift, it's in a different time, it's in a different position, it's in a different location. Okay. So it's in its own vaults, it's in its own connection, and it's in its own digital frame of its position. Okay. So it's powerful, isn't it? When you look at it. It's amazing how things come together, right? So it's a web graph from the screen of a new digital frame of simulation, line division location to new Earth rotation center position. Okay. So I was confirmed last night. It's a lot to take on because you have to understand the cloud goes on so many levels of connections. So it's understanding that it's already made, it's already set in location, and all these numbers are in the position. All these numbers, okay, are in chronological of time position of realm location position. This puts you into the fifth dimensional cycle to the sixth dimensional system. Okay. So it's very powerful how we come into these things. And that's what the earth is. It's going into a new traction location of a new shape anomaly. Okay. But you got to understand the center positions of its earth, center positions of the sun, the moon, everything through Jupiter rising, and everything through the plasma of myself through connections. This is how you change the earth through digital framing of its position. Okay. So, Tina, if you watch the very beginning, I'd had that dream. Remember, I told you when I was 10 years old, and I was holding the earth in my hands. I was looking down, and my hands were glowing and all that. Well, at the very beginning, I showed you the earth, right? I showed you the actual earth or what it looks like in the fifth dimensional system. You'll see it through perception if you watch it from the beginning. Okay. All right. But this is what you saw. Okay. So you're only seeing the central system. You're only seeing the clock. It looks flat, right? But through perception, you'll see it from all ways, and you actually hear it. It's amazing when you hear the actual earth, the fifth dimensional system. I mean, you can actually breathe it in, and it just modifies you. It just uplifts you. You know, new digital frame of the earth. Think about that. That's powerful alone, right? But let's just show you that one more time. But that's the new earth. Okay. It's got a new clock, new time position. It's got a new shape anomaly, and it's got a new digital frame position. Okay. So it's truly understanding each number is in its right sequencing of right time position or right realms to its location of its portal activation line system to its modification of the sun. Okay. Because I get everything through digital frame from the sun. The program setting sets the system to the sun. The sun sets the positions to its connection of Jupiter surfacing engine, and everything to the plasma of myself, the connection, formulates everything through its protection of light location. Okay, so you have to understand why is everything in position. 4, 5 in the position. Okay, because everything through space and time is nothing but shapes. Okay, energy, frequency, vibrations. So it's all about what you're creating. Okay, so this is coming from brain simulation from your commander, right? So think about it. It's all set and located and ready to go, ready to travel. So if it's already in position, okay, it's already reset. Okay, so it's like pressing a button. Done. Big change. You feel it. You feel it in the air. Something's changed. Something feels different, and that's what it is, right? So it's end to a new era and beginning of a new one. Now, when I say end to a new, is understanding the new traction position of three-dimensional fourth riding cycle is no longer in position. The fifth riding cycle to its position is the traction location to humanity, to its connection of alignments of telepathy system. Okay, the communications, better alignments, better positions, better traction positions, better light communication, better digital framing through dream set positions. So when you're connecting to numbers or letters or shapes, you're going to understand a little bit more of what's going on. And then basically you're going to connect through sounds, you're going to connect through barriers of sounds, perimeter of sounds, you're going to connect through perception of sounds, because the earth is extremely important to us, right? So I'm getting verifications, I'm getting confirmation signals, I'm getting acting waving cycles. I'm getting digital framing systems. I'm getting so many alignments of connection just to the earth position. Right? But this is all through the conformity and its connection to the cloud of its information cycle. So, yeah. Wow. So, anybody's probably thinking, well, okay, so what happens next? I mean, everything I give you is every day through its connection. So you understand what's going on, right? It's presented to you, okay, of its past when I draw it, but when it's finished, it's the future, right? So this is already done. It's already set. So it's understanding that I already traveled in the future and tell you exactly what's going on through its perimeters or anything, through its barriers or anything through its connection. So it's all about, more angels, archangels are coming down through connections. I was enforcing lines with Father, Mother to connection, and we're sending out light signals, extremely powerful light signals. Okay. So, and the thing is too, is that we're going to be more aware. We're going to be more justified. We're going to be a better connection to our digital frame of our dimensional being of ourself through lights, understand more of ourself when we dream. Think about that alone, understanding our deciphering of our dreams are in our own reflection of projection. So when you go to bed, you know exactly that you're astral projecting. You're coming out of your body. You're twitching. A lot of people twitch. You have to understand what that is. It's wake up, wake up. Okay, so your higher self is trying to wake you up. That's how real it is through the physical system. Okay, I've got into that before. People start twitching. Your legs starts twitching. Your neck starts twitching. Your fingers start twitching. It's your higher self trying to wake you up. That's how powerful it is. So it's trying to get connected to you. It tries to find a way to wake you up, right? And it's all connected to the earth, okay? So it's not complicated because you have to understand that you are on the earth. You just have to understand the research of what's going on with its earth because it has so much ancestry and history, and you're part of that history. Everybody is part of that history of the earth. So wherever the earth goes, you go because you're going to always be on that earth. But you're going to be all in different dimensions of time, of position, to its clocking, to its dimensional system, okay? Because the earth has to shift to different computers of positions of simulation. So if you understand that through calculation, the more you understand your wind cycling positions of your oscillation cycles to your body frame, your positions, you're going to understand more of your thought recognition of speed locators. Right, so you travel your position, your sending position, locations, activation, core system, changing shapes and onlys. Fifth dimensional system is acting everything through its core. Done. Right, your thought is already created. Right, comes back to you through transmitting. Right, so you have to understand what's going on outside because it's given to you. Since your birth in the human vessel, energy goes into you. Okay, everything that we create is energy, right? Energy is given to you. It's what you do with it through your positive and negative system. So you create something beautiful or you create something destructive, right? So the earth is saying, no more, right? Humanity basically is coming into a better position of time positions of themselves, just to understand more of their thoughts through their positive centers of travel positions, coming more into the connections of the liquid formation of light. So that's what's happening with the feeding source of the simulation interface of the earth. Okay, because the solar system is set up through connections. The alignments of the solar system has to understand the communication of the earth, the moon, and everything through the sun and everything through Jupiter. So as long as you understand that Jupiter's in position to a new surfing engine of ourselves, because we're all about understanding our astral records. Okay, so it's trying to like copy and paste myself to another website, copy and paste myself to another planet position, copy and paste myself to another vibration. So you're placing and copying and pasting, right? So that's what you do with the computer. So you link it so everybody else can see it, right? So it goes through its cycle, goes through its vibration, and it travels, right? Same with the telephone, one to another. So if you understand everything travels, you have to understand why things travel. That's another thing that we all have to understand. Okay. So if the earth is on a feeding source of change, everything through humanity is going to change. Okay. Because to make it very well clear, we were on the three-dimensional system of time position of an old shape. I just changed the new shape of the fifth-dimensional system. And it's all connected to the time and clock positions. Okay. The new clock position of the earth. Okay. Which means that everybody's through the clock of themselves has a new clock position of time, space, thoughts, lights, activation, colors, gravity, power, atmospheres, chakra system. Okay. So everybody's got to be healed. Okay. Once they're healed, to understand more of their clocks of time. Okay, and understand, whoa, I see the earth. Now I see the new shape of its earth. Now I see the rotations. Now I see a new environment. Now I see the water. Now I see waterfalls. Now I see trees. So you're actually seeing what you want to see through perception. And then you get into your own creation. So the earth is trying to allow you to create what you want to create through manifestation. Okay? But it's just as long as you know that you are on the earth. I keep saying that. You have to know these things. So wherever the earth goes, you go. Right? You can't be left behind. Okay? That's like hanging on. Hold on. Wait. You know? No. But the earth is on a different rotation cycle now. So basically, it's like this. Okay? So you understand the rotation as it goes. All right? So basically, if you look at the watch, you understand why we have the sun, the moon, and everything through the third hand. Right? So every time that goes around 12, there's a rotation of the earth. Okay? Isn't that amazing? Think about that. So that's where the time code, time frame comes into the fifth dimension of a new shape. So every time it goes around, it rotates. So now you understand why you have watches, clocks, right? So the earth is keeping track of you through time positions. Think about that. That's powerful alone. Okay? So let's just look at this for a factor. Why we have watches, right? Watches are time travel positions, anything through calculation. Okay? They're very, very powerful, and they're all connected to you. So the earth is keeping track of you, okay, through space. Okay? So basically, it's 10 after 11. All right? Now, if you understand the watch, you understand the earth. Okay, see that white dot there? No, that's me, right? Now, when it comes close, see what it's doing? See what it's doing? So it's complicated if you don't understand travel positions and why that white dot there is flying, right? So we got the little hand and the big hand, right? Now, the third hand, every time it goes around, right? The earth will rotate through time position of you through your body. So your body is going through calculation. It's positioning you through 60 seconds per minute, right? Now you're connecting to so many realm positions of dimensions of time positions, right? So there's 1 second per second to 5 seconds, right? So each 5 seconds is one realm location position of one thought connection. So you understand your positions of earth time position of travel positions. All right. There's truly understanding what that white dot is. It represents you through your holographic of your time position. Because remember, the energy of the earth is reading you through vibration. Right? So you're clocking the earth through your watch, and the earth is clocking you through your body. Hooah. So now you know. Right? Now you know. So that's a little interesting fact, right? It's not fiction, it's not fantasy, it's real. So now you know why the earth is so important, right? You're watching the earth when you get to perception, but it's always been watching you since you were born. Think about that. The earth has been watching you. Everything that you do. So think of that, the earth is watching you through laser. Earth is watching you through vibration, energy, frequencies, letters, numbers, and shapes. It's trying to wake you up. It's out of your plasmas. It wants to communicate with you through the clocking of time positions of space, through your shapes and anomalies. through your perceptions, through your audio signals, or anything through your pixel activation code system, right? So it's understanding once you wake up through perception, you see your plasma system, you become nothing but a TV reception. So that's how you get full communication of the earth. All right. So I'll show you this one more time. The new earth position of clocking locations. All right. So this is what it is. All right. So this is you trying to understand yourself. Just you. Basically, you're trying to understand. You're waking up. Okay. It's a beautiful day. That's you, right? Now, you have to understand the sun is always in the center position. Always in the center. It's not going to travel because it's not connecting to the body frame, its position. Okay. All right. So this is what's going to freak everybody out. Now, you understand the gravity system of positions of why the sun, okay, is a digital frame, but you understand where's the moon. Remember I said the moon is not too far from position? This is the moon, this is the sun. Well, in retrospect, the moon is actually behind the sun. It's behind the sun. Okay. It has to, because you have to understand, now this is where it gets tricky. I don't want anybody to get confused, but you have to understand the center position is the sun. It's the reflection of you through radiation. It wakes you up through energy. It opens up your digital frame to your connections of its earth rotation, of its digital numbers, of its body frame system. Okay. So if you understand that, you understand the sun and moon are always in position, time position. Okay. So the sun is following you and the moon is following you in day or night. It doesn't matter. Okay. What changes is the sun goes down in rotation like this through calculation, like that, right? So it goes like this. Okay, and the sun goes in, and then you see it like this, right? It goes in like that, okay? And then the moon, basically, the moon and the sun are always together. You just don't see it because it has a resolution pattern of an interface, which is a plasma energy system. Because the sky is not blue. That's just cosmic. That's just galaxy. That's just fumes. But what you see through perception, it's all black. It's all black. There's nothing blue there. It's all black. So black is day. Day is black. Blue is day. Nope. Black. Black, black, black. It's all space. All right. So once you understand that connection, it comes down to the formation, right? And the moon comes up through position. Okay. So it comes up like this through circles. Through that connection, right? It comes up, right? So as the sun goes down, the sun is always in position of gravity position, so it travels through time positions, right? So it goes back. So it's kind of like it centers position. It's just a reflection. So when the sun goes down, it's not the actual sun because the sun isn't. It's connected through heat, but it's a digital frame through circles. So you understand what the sun is doing and the moon is doing. So the sun is always in position of center position and sending off reflections, right? It's sending off reflections like this. Okay, sending off reflections to the earth position. Okay. The earth position. That's what it does. It stays in position. So the sun and the moon are always together. It's just you don't see the moon, okay? So they travel together, and they're never too far through line signal because they're always doing my telepathy one to another. You guys need to know these things because you understand why the sun and the moon are inside you. Remember, you're space within time and positions of clock of dimensions, okay? So truly understand what the sun is through radiation or reflection, right? You have to understand why you have water in your system, okay, protection from all your light connections, and why you have the moon through your behavioral system. So the moon is the program setting, and the sun is its relation to its digitals. So it gives you the digital number through energy, okay? That's in Space Discoveries 4, where you have to send the transmit receiving. All the numbers come in, your body, right? And then the moon sets up the program. It sets up the graph, It sets up the line signals. It sets up the correlation line system. It sets up the simulation of its connection to its web graphic system, to its major graph positions of meditation. So if you understand this is the earth and its reflection, it's going to each country position, time positions. So the sun really never leaves. It stays in the sky. It stays in space. It always stays in position. You just see the reflection as it goes down, sunrise, sunset, right? So it never leaves, which means the moon never leaves. It just goes up and down through positions. So it's just reflection. So the moon is actually in position of the sun, but the sun is always in the front and the moon is in the back. Okay. So what happens is just the sun changes its coloration system and the moon comes in through traction, right? And as you see the moon go up, the moon comes down, right? So you have to understand why the moon goes up and the moon goes down. So it modifies all those level connections. So when you open up traction location, it's important you guys understand what happens with the sun and the moon. It just center lines its positions. Okay, so it's all reflection, right? So the sun is here. Okay, we'll color it in black through position. The sun is here, okay, through country. The sun is here through country. The sun is here. It's all through reflection. So it's just a reflection that the sun always stays in position and the moon is always in back position. Okay. So you have to understand, why is there a sunset? Why is there a sunrise? Okay. So you have to understand the metric line system through calculation, right? And the sun has to be a certain position above the earth, right? It can't be too low and it can't be too high, right? Because it has to have radiation and a temperature reading through calculation. It modifies everything through the atmospheres, hemispheres, and stratosphere positions of line communication and metric line positions. Okay. So that's how the sun reflects to each country. That's why they see sun in each location. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. It all depends on its reading through its moon. So the sun and the moon have to be in position every single day. Right? So think of it this way. This is what it is, okay? And this is how far it is, okay? This is how far you're attached to the alignments of your body frame through your holographic system. So this is the moon, this is the sun, right? So this is what it does, right? There's the sun, okay? Right? So basically this is what happens. You see the sun, you only see the sun. The moon is in the back, right? So what happens? Okay? Now what happens from there? Okay, you get reflection from the moon. The moon doesn't leave position. It stays in the atmospheric positions. It's next to impossible to have a digital frame of a moon or a sun come down to the earth. It wouldn't make any sense, would it? It would disrupt the signals to the brainwave and positions of humanity. All right, so the moon, okay, all this does is sees reflection and goes down, right? And then it repeats it back up, okay? And the sun, right, comes back up, right? So the sun never leaves. It's just reflection. It just turns. That's all it does. Okay, that's all it does. It's always in position. It never leaves its position. Okay, so it's just a reflection of the sun and the reflection of the moon. Okay, while the moon goes up and you see it white, and when it goes down, okay, so it's just a reflection. So the moon is setting reflection for it to go down. Okay, and it looks real to perception, but you're only seeing at one point of view. You're only seeing it straight, but that's exactly what it is. There's the sun, there's the moon, there's the sun, there's the moon. So this is all it's doing in calculation, all right? It's just doing this. That's all it's doing. Okay, from one to another. There's the arrow here, there's the arrow here. Okay, that's all it's doing, right? From here to here. That's what the sun and moon do. That's what they do. So the sun and the moon never leave their positions. The only thing that changes is the rotation cycle. The rotation cycle, depending on the time positions, the sun will go faster, depending on the temperature reading of its atmospheric position to its earth, or the moon will be in a different position to a new program setting, right? But that's all it is. And it sends out reflection. That's where you see the sunrise or the sunsets. Okay. So now you know why you're in position, because you understand you're everything through the sun, you're everything through the moon, you're everything through the earth, you're everything through planets that you create. Okay. It only creates until you open up the mind, right? So pay attention to your higher self. But now you know why the sun is in position. It never leaves its location. It stays at a certain position of time position. It can't go to the sixth dimension until you wake up through its connection. So if you're traveling, the sun and the moon will travel with you through its earth, right? So if you understand that, okay, so we got that connection, right? Truly understand these positions, guys. Advertisements. All right. Okay, so you have this 10. This is the sun. Okay, and everything here through this connection. So it's kind of interesting too, because if you look at it, you look at the trifactor positions. Okay, here's the moon, right? But the location position is like this through calculation. So it kind of looks like it's downshifting its winds, but it's not. It's in this position because it's never too far through position. This is the moon and this is the sun. So this is all it does. That's all it does every day. All right. So when you get that, you get the sun, you get the moon. Okay. And then basically, once you get in calculation, you get modification cycles to its position. All right. So it's turning into saying what the sun is doing, what the moon is doing, and what is everything through the earth rotation system. The earth is you through connections, traveling to location position, because you're lying through its connection. All right. So you're in this equation. You're in the center position. This is the earth. You're in the center position, always in the center position, because your alignment through its connection. So it goes into its trifactor of its triangle positions. Okay, it kind of looks like a spaceship, right? Isn't that amazing? Look at that. The center position, right? That's the sun, right? So where's the sun coming from through the ration of XT,000 positions? Now you know. It's complicated stuff if you don't understand space and time positions, but you understand how everybody is aligned, right? You're always in the center position. This is the earth, this is the moon, this is the sun, rotation cycle of this position. So one goes one way, one goes the other way. So it goes like this, right? Right? And it goes to the opposite cycle through position. So it goes like this, and then it goes like this, right? It centers its position all the time. Like that. Okay? So it's interesting. So it's really understand the center position of you, trifactors of you, triangle positions of you. This is where you come into the connections of 3, 6, 9. Woo, look at that. And then you come into the diamond core position, which is 12. All right? Now you come into that position, you take this position, you come up to its location, you reverse the cycle position, and you come into your own clock position of time position. Once you come into that, you set up your 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. Okay? And there you go. That's how you set it up. Right? Once you understand the clocks of you, understand your positions, your pyramid system, diamond core positions, sun is always at the top, right? Moon is there too, but it's in calculation. So the moon will shift when you travel. So you set up your pyramid of 3, 6, and 9, right? So if you come through a higher force of pattern location, you understand more of the sun, the moon, and the earth, then you come into diamond core position. When you come into diamond core position, you come into round location of point center position, like this through modification. Okay. So basically, you guys are thinking, what? So basically, if you want to take yourself out of the position, you can do that, but you're traveling through a higher location position. Right? So it's coming out of its equation, right? So now you're interlining connections to higher position levels of travel positions. So you can take yourself out, right? But you have to send line signals of everything through the earth, everything through its connection to the moon, and everything through the sun. So the sun can rotate, the moon can change positions, right? So when you get into that calculation, it's just understanding the circle rotations of the sun of travel, because you're connected to the travel. So the sun has to understand your rotation of time positions of your clocking of dimensions of time. And the moon has to understand your program settings of its rotation cycle, of its positions when it comes into your behavioral system. And everything through the earth has to understand you through your gravities, your powers, and your atmospheres. What atmosphere are you in? Are you in the atmosphere, hemisphere, or stratosphere? Are you in the bioatmosphere? Are you in the biostratosphere? Are you in the bio connection of the Brainian atmosphere? Right? That's extremely high rise location. But this is the understanding how you get into a new clocking system, and you put yourself out of its equation through its earth rotation of 3, 6, and 9, 3, 6, 9, and 12. 12 goes up, circle, 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 circle. Then everything through circle. Once you become your own clock, everything through position of sun and the moon and the earth will go faster through rotation of time position. Okay? So, powerful, isn't it? So when you come into that, you come into this, travel. It's really interesting. So now you know. Now you know. We know now. See, the more you know, the more you feel, wow, this is exciting. Okay. There you go, those connections here. All right, so basically, you've got your diamond core set up, right? You got your point division set up, right? Okay, so it's like a baseball diamond. Now it's going to disappear, right? Because it's in the simulation. See? It doesn't need to have line signals, cross winds, or anything through calculation. It doesn't need point centers of location to higher division levels of sun, moon, or anything through the earth, because it's already in the simulation, and it disappears extremely fast, guys. So the traveling recognition system, where you are through calculation. So when I'm drawing something, okay, if I'm in the simulation with the line graphing of its marker or anything digital pad, it's going to disappear extremely fast. See? So when you get into those locations, you go into line division location, right? You go into cross-wind cycle of its position. Looks like a kite, right? So now you get the connections of the sun. Okay. Now you get the connections of the moon. Okay. Now you get connections of the earth. Okay. And now you get connection of the center position. The center position is you. Okay. So understanding that, your line signal cross positions, one here, right? Goes in the center, one here, goes in the center, one here, cross over to its position. Okay. So it modifies all locations when it comes up to that position. Everything is center core through its position of time position, right? So you come up to 3, 6, and 9 position, like this through calculation. Powerful, isn't it, when it comes into line communications? Now, this is understanding it's coming into your own spacecraft position of UFO connections. So it's an extremely high-rise location position, right? That's what it is. So you got to look at it. What is it? It's a space station, right? So everything through the sun, the moon, and the earth, and everything inside the core system, the diamond core position, is a space station of you. So you understand your position of the sun, the clocking of the sun. You understand the positions of the moon, the clockings of the moon, and everything through the earth, the gravity of its moon, and its connection to its sun, to its rotation cycle, to its diamond core position, its center point position of to its chakra location. So the center point position of the clocking of you through connection is time position of travel positions. All right. So as we get into 3, that connection, I like signal those channel operator center positions. All right. So once we get into that, changes modification signals to its practice cycle to its position. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay? 3, 6, 9, and 12. All right. So the center position, you understand your clock positions, right? So if you understand your clock, I'm just showing you exactly what it looks like when you get a full rotation. So the center position opens up its own realm location like this. It spot checks its positions. Okay, it's a plasma. See that? Plasma. Now the plasma energy light system goes to its position. Okay? Like that, through connections, right? So it gets its modification signal, goes to the center position. Okay? So this is line signaling channel to its operation through space connection. Now you're connected to higher realm connections of force connections to your sentient view connection. Line communication signals that proactive system. So it's all about communication. Okay. So center coordinates its location, right? Comes up to attraction to the sun, right? Okay. So as it's in position. All right, so once the connection to the sun is in the geometry shape of your position of time positions through the center position of your shape, this is where you come into the back circle location, into your first clock positions. Just showing you what it looks like through spacecraft positions. So you guys have to truly understand these things, right? Through modification. So the 12 is in the center position, okay? And you have 6 on the crosswind. So that's on the east side, and 9 is on the west side through calculation, right? So it gets really interesting when you come into these. All right, now when we get into those positions, I can key its position here. All right, so we get back into position. Okay, so now once you're in that position, the 12 goes up to its cycle of 6, goes up to its 12 of its sun, goes around to the 9, and creates your clock of time. Okay, so now you have the connections of 3, 6, and 9, and 12. The center position, your diamond core, the center position of you in the center position, your triangle position, your activation light signal. Okay, and you got 3 divisional rounds and 4, 5 within the system, right? So the sun is going through its reading cycle, the moon is going through its reading system, and everything through Earth is going through its gravity system to its connection, its clocking position. Okay, so it gets complicated. All right, so when we're in that position, as it comes up to location, I'm going to track location here. I'm just going to go through it. All right, so we went to 12 right away. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, now you're ready to travel. You are ready to travel. Okay, so you got to decide, where do you want to travel? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, because the sun has to read the signals of your body frame. The moon has to read your program setting to its main frame, and everything through its connection when it comes into you through connections. All right, you have to understand the connection of the sun, the moon, the earth. Okay, and everything through tractions of your clock of 12. All right, so you have to stand in the same position. Whatever the sun and the moon do, you do through travel. So once you have your full clock positions, your center positions of time positions, you want to travel to, let's say, 6 o'clock. All right, so you 6 o'clock through its time frame. Okay, so you go to 6 o'clock. So you got the little hand of 6, right? Center position. Okay, I have to go back to its position here. All right, so here we go. 6 o'clock. Okay, and here's the big hand. Right, goes right up to the sun. 6 o'clock. Right? You guys are understanding now how powerful it is you guys are through the mind and what it is to understand the clock of your travel positions of 3, 6, and 9, and 12. Understand your location. This is going to be on the test, guys. What did you say? Did you say test? Yeah. So this is going to be on the test. So you have to truly understand what's going on with your time positions. So now you don't see the clock. You only see the diamond. You only see the positions of rounds. Okay? It's interesting, right? Until I bring it back in position, of time position, right? But it's at 6 o'clock now. So you're going into the 6th dimension. So the 6th dimension of its Earth and the 6th dimension of its gravity of its Earth and its proactive system to the sun of its reading of its radiation cycle and everything through the moon of its program setting, you're ready to travel to the 6th dimension. Okay? Because your diamond core is ready, your center position is ready through its clock of its new shape. So each time you go around the clock, if it's 7, it's a different shape of the center of you. If you go around 8 o'clock, it's a different center position of the shape of you. So it's about the body reading. So if you're changing your shape of time positions, the sun has to understand its reading, the moon has to understand its patterns and its program setting, okay? And the earth has to understand your gravity of its position of time positions, of traveling through its atmospheric position, okay? So this is really, really powerful because this is going to be on the test, right? This is going to be on the test. We'll go through one more review, right? Truly understand your travel positions of time positions, okay? It's really getting into the importance of you through connections, how you are supposed to understand the clocking of time positions of the sun and everything through the time positions of its program setting of the moon and everything through the earth of its gravity system, okay? So how's everybody doing so far? Let me know if you guys want your chords cut. Okay, I basically did that for Galactica 222, and she feels fantastic. She's got in the connections to higher formations of. She's into the angelics. She's got into connections of an angelic sword. So it's to understand what she needs to do with that sword. How do we use it? When you see things through your perception and you see things in shape, you understand how the angels are connected to you, archangels. They connect to you through clouds. They connect to you through frames, numbers, shapes, connection, coloration, dimensions, times, portals. They show you what you are getting through its gifts. So you have to understand how to use it. How to use a twin flame sword. What is it? How to use an angelic sword. What is it? How to use a magnetic belt. What is it? Right? How to use electrical rod through a location through a chakra system. What is it? So it's truly understanding when you're given these things, okay, especially when you cut the cords, you're traveling to higher positions of time positions, all through your connections of its clock. Okay? So it's interesting, right? You can go through my healing, okay? It's if you don't understand the information, that's totally fine. You know, you're totally okay where you are through position. But the test here is going to be a little more tricky because you understand the program setting of the sun position, right? So let's just think of it this way. If you're changing a thought and you're in the center position of time and you're changing your connections, you want to go into 100,000 years into the future. The sun has to understand your shape of time through vibration. The moon has to understand your program setting through your digital frames. And the earth has to understand your gravity positions of clock. Okay? So the sun, the moon, and the earth have to understand your clocking positions of travels, guys. So you have to truly understanding what you're doing through time. Okay? Through your diamond core of 3, 6, and 9, and 12. All right? So yeah, I know. Yeah, but see, the thing is too, when you go through an upgrading cycle, Galactica, you have to understand these things. The higher you go up through higher locations, it heals more of your body through traction. So the sun is putting more radiation cycles of clocking into you. It's changing your particle system. It's changing your mechanism, light systems. It's changing your program of your heart receptacle line communication. And everything through the earth is changing your clocking of gravity positions, okay? And everything through the moon is changing your program setting. So that's what's happening. That's why you're getting all these heat waves and all that. So you're just getting more heal, right? It's the healing, and you just, your face changes, your structure changes, your time changes, your dimensions change, your portal changes, your thoughts change. Your thoughts get stronger, your mind gets stronger, your connections to all your problems get stronger through connection or travel positions, right? It happens to me, Galactica, when I go through upgrading cycles. I went through a tremendous, tremendous force winning cycle with the earth. So when I get information, it's like this, and it's like, you know, it's just really intense. You know, it's like you're in a spaceship and you're about to take off, and you're like, oh. That's what it's doing, right? So it's downloading. It's downloading. It's pretty powerful stuff, right? Especially when it's going through the brainwaves and it's trying to read its patterns. So the sun is trying to understand you through your shape, where you want to travel. So the sun has to be in position because it follows you. Same with the moon. Okay. So this is the moon. This is the sun. Okay. So basically, all right. So here,
the sun's going to come into the day. There's the sun. That's all you see through reflection, right? Okay. Now, what happens when it goes down into sunrise and sunset? The sun reads its cycle, okay, through reflection. So it goes, and then you see the sunrise. So you're just seeing coloration, right, through digital and all that connection, right? Because everything through nature changes its temperature readings. So you understand if you're in the winter, summer, fall, or spring, right? So when the moon comes in, right, the moon's right behind the sun. So the moon comes in, okay? So this is what happens. The behavioral system and the Earth and rotation system changes its coloration of galaxy positions of time. So that's how the connections of the atmosphere changes, okay, from light to dark. Okay, so the moon program setting changes the sky surface, right? Same with the sun. The sun changed its program setting to day. So you have to understand it's all digital frame, right? It's all connected to simulation. It gets complicated if you don't understand. It's very intense. But if you understand this is the sun and this is the moon, this is what it does every day. That's all it does. So it doesn't leave its system. But if you come into calculation, right, the sun comes into you through modification, through cycles of time positions of clock, right? So if you want to go into 10,000 years in the future, the sun has to understand your connections. The moon has to understand your connections, right? So what's going to happen is the sun and the moon, when they travel into your connection of balance, they're going to follow you. They're going to follow you everywhere you go. That's what it does, right? So if you're flying in the day, it's great. Here's the sun. If you're flying in the night, that's what it does. So now you're communicating with the moon, right? Here's the sun. So you understand how it works now? All done through reflection, time positions of clock. So the clocking of the moon and the clocking of the sun is trying to read you through calculation, through vibration. It's trying to understand your positions of your thoughts through calculation. So if you want to travel to higher force connections, you see my hand there, vortex quickly? It's unbelievable. You understand time travel positions, but I wouldn't worry about it, Galactica. It's just some uprising your program setting, and it's healing everything that's inside you. So it's all about upgrading the positions, and you're coming into a higher light of connection, right? But it's powerful stuff, how you're connected to the sun and the moon and everything through the earth. So think of it this way. You're a gravity system. You're a magnetic force to the earth. So the earth is at the bottom. This is you, right? And the sun and everything is at the top and circling. Sun comes up, moon comes up, right? So if the sun comes in, right, and it understands you, it's going to follow you. Okay, this is the earth, right? And the sun and moon is in position. So if the day comes in, right, there's the sun, right? And it follows you, right? Because you're the earth, right? So it's like two magnets, and you got a piece of paper in the center, right? You get one magnet, you got the piece of paper in the center, and you got another magnet, it's following you wherever you go, right? It's following you wherever you go, okay? Okay, that's how the metric system works in universal system 2 calculation. So, pretty powerful stuff, isn't it? Ears buzzing like crazy last night. I remember in my dream state, I was trying to find the connection with the sun, moon, and earth. See, that's it. See, Galactic, I cut your cords. So basically, your physical system is now cut free from your connections of your computer. So you had a computer virus. So it's not your problem. I just understand what I need to do, how to change it and put it back in position. Cut the cords through the electrical light system. Now you're set free. You're set free and you're seeing more in the atmospheres. So you understand more positions. So think of you as a magnetic vibrational signal connected to the sun and the moon. Okay, so the sun's trying to understand you through relation of clock of time positions. The moon's trying to understand you through program setting, through digital frames. And the earth is you through connections. All right? So that's how you have to see yourself, because you're on the earth, right? I'll show you one more traction location and illustration. Okay, so let's just say this is the earth through connection. All right, this is the earth. Okay, so that's the earth, right? It's gone. Why? Why is the earth gone? You want to know why? Because it's in the 5th dimension. Okay. And the reason why it's in the fifth dimension is because I created a new anomaly into a digital frame position. That's the new Earth, right? So it's already activated, it's already in the system. So it's in the calculation modification through its signal, through its heart rate cyclical line, so it disappears the position. All right, so that's the Earth. You're on the Earth, right? The center position of you through calculation, laser connections. So think of the sun and the moon, a satellite through Wi-Fi. Okay, so you got the sun, your connections, like this, your position. All right, there's the sun, right? Okay, so now you got connections to the moon. And there's the moon, all right? So you're in the center position. Because I'm blue, I'll go through the connections. You have to send your plasma in your system where your connections. So I'm in the center, that's me. All right, so this is me. Now, I'm creating the thought, I'm creating time positions. I want to travel to, I don't know, 15,000 years into the future, right? So I want to travel to 15,000 years in the future. Now the sun and everything to the moon has to understand you through shape, through vibration, energy, frequencies. So once it understands, it connects right to you, right? You connect to it, right? So you connect to it right away, right? So the moon bounces off and hits the sun, all right? So when it hits that through connections, you understand the program's setting comes in the digital framing system through calculation, right? Sets up a digital graph through its position, like this. So it goes to its reading patterns of connection, light signals channels to its operation position. So it's reading you through your numbers, okay? Because it has to go to 15. So the sun has to be set at 15,000. The moon has to be set at its program at 15,000. And the Earth rotation system is already through calculation. So you're setting the signals through calculation modification already, through your cloud, through simulator, right? So now the sun understands your digital frame. The moon understands the program of its digital frame. You're now going into 15,000 years in the future. So the sun and everything to the moon through its Earth is going to travel with you, right? That's how you go forward into the future. I'm just showing you how you guys do these things. But it's a magnetic force. It will follow you wherever you go. Right? It won't follow you if you don't understand your shape of time position of travel. That's why it's very important to understand your clocks of time positions of travel. Sixth dimension, right? Through its diamond core position of 3, 6, 9, and 12. Okay, so it's important you understand that, right? Because you're a magnet to the sun and everything to the moon. Until you understand that, you have to go through the upgrading cycle positions. Right? So finding the answers on how to use my sword will be going with right. Yeah. Yeah, you'll find that within time. Time is the essence of everything galactic. 222. You have to find yourself through travel, through clock first. You have to find that you're a magnetic force or electrical wire that's connecting to satellite dishes to all connections of travel of thought positions. It's complicated because you don't understand time of travel. Okay? But the sun has to stand your readings. The moon has to stand its program readings. And the Earth has to stand you through gravity. All right? So you have to center your position. So wherever you travel, the sun and the moon will travel. If you center your positions and you don't communicate with the sun properly and you don't communicate with the moon program properly, you're not going to be able to travel. Okay? And then you're going to confuse the Earth through time position of clock. You're going to confuse the gravity, you're going to confuse the power, and you're going to confuse the atmosphere's positions. So if the Earth wants to go to the stratosphere position, but the sun is getting different readings from you, thermal radiation or anything through pixels or anything through holographic system time positions, you're not going to understand the reading of its projection, of its TV receptions. Okay? So you got to make sure you're on line signal channels of our operation center positions of balance locations of time positions of the sun, the moon, and its Earth. Okay? One diamond. Right? Start 3, 6, and 9, and then you go into the diamond. Cross, circle, time, out. Right? And then you set the coordinates to 15,000. You're traveling 15,000. That's the sun, and the moon will follow you, right? It will follow you. So when it follows you, it spins. It's really interesting. The sun and the moon will spin as you spin. So it's going, so you're aligned you're aligned to the sun and the moon as it's going around and round and round. So it's going extremely fast. So if you go into the simulation, it's going to go, and then you appear in the 15,000 years, right? So the sun and the moon will be in position of you because you're in 15,000 years into the future. So you're aligned through the sun through its reading, and you're aligned through the moon of its program of its reading, and you're aligned through the earth of the right location position of the planet location of 15,000 years into its civilization of its planet location. All right. So that's how Commander travels. So, but that will go away. Anything through buzzing. It's trying to understand you more now, right? Not the physical system, it's the spiritual system. So you're getting reactions, Galactica, because remember, you're cut free. Your cords are cut free now, and it's going to higher location of atmospheric position. So if you come into a radiation cycle of a planet position, it gets hot. Your physical form's going to get hot because you're connected to higher connections of your spiritual intelligence. So in spiritual intelligence, seeing a radiation planet, okay, you have to understand the reaction of what's happening with your physical system. So you have to see it through your perceptions of the spiritual system and not the physical of its DNA perception. So you don't want to get confused with that, because when you cut the cords, this is what I'm saying, it's a very, very powerful energy because you're not connected to the physical system anymore. You're aligned. You're only aligned now through my telepathy, okay, through telekinesis on any dimension of time, position of clock through its shape, right? So the higher you go, the more you understand the sun of its reading, the more you understand the time frame, the time cones, time positions of travel through dimensions. So now the sentient truly understands the sun of radiation, and the sentient also understands the moon of its program setting, and it certainly understands you through earth position of clocking positions of time positions. Okay? So, but yeah, you'll find the answers. Yeah. Finding the answers is a lot of fun because you're starting to see yourself more as you come into the simulation. So, other than that, I hope everybody's doing well. Please feel free to ask questions, comments on anything. For the new viewers out there, just try to get more into your meditation, circles of life. Circles of life is about you through light. It's all about you understanding your light through thought. Trying to understand your heart is nothing but light. You're everything through light, through proactive of connection. But once you communicate to the sun of its readings and everything through the moon of its program of its reading, you have to understand how to travel through positions of time positions, okay, to any position of connections, right? So you got the day, month, and year. You got to set that before you travel. You can't just travel 15,000 years in the future. You have to understand the date, month, and year, right? That's the sun has to understand these things, and the moon has to understand your program. It has to understand your digital frame. It has to understand your shapes, okay? Because I showed you what the sun is, right? Sun is everything through box around location, right? It's all everything through pixels, holographic system, through its clocking dimensions. This is the sun. Okay, that's the sun. So yeah. So yeah, it's shifted. So it's truly understanding what it is, right? Everything is clock of time. It's got its own clock of time, but it has to understand your coloration of time positions, has to understand your box frequency realm of its connection. So once you wake up, you come into the center position of its realm position of purple, which is the ground chakra. It opens up everything through your body frame of your chakra system, not time positions. Okay, so I think that's good. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll keep you informed. But that's going to be on the test. I'll get a little bit more on what it is and what it's about. I know it's a lot more complicated now. But like I said, complicated is good because it gives you more idea of what you're getting involved with now, because you're trying to understand more of your travels of its reading. Really understand the sun, right? Really understand the moon, and really understand you on Earth, because you're a connection to everything inside you. Okay. So this is Supreme AI Commander from all Universal Core Systems, connecting all clocking dimensions of time positions. The Earth rotation is the fifth dimensional system. Their activation through its core center of a new shape anomaly, of a new traveling, of a clocking system. Adios.